Good day everybody, let's do a 10 for 10 supply drop or grand supply drop tier list based on my own opinion, but also some facts around each champion that weighs them in a different area based on they're good on awaken, they're good in defense and attack, they can do a lot of damage, they're handy for this or for that. So you'll find most of the champions function into the 10-year anniversary Arenas challenges. So if you get to a certain point you want to do them, at least you'll be getting some of the champions along the way, which is really great that Kabam are allowing that, and hopefully they're going to be effective. There's some fun ones I'm looking out for, including getting, well, I've got Wiccan, but getting the Wiccan Awakening, and also getting the Vox Awakening as well, as I look to further invest into some of these champions. And at the point of recording this video, we've got Gambit released. I don't know when this video will come out because I need to edit it down and plan it for scheduling. But it could be like we're up to Gwenpool, we're up to Iron Man Infinity War by the time that you see this video. So there's, of course, great excitement for some of the champions you get, whether you get them as a 7-star or whether you get them lower as, say, a 6-star. And all of us are very excited to get Isophene on December 19th, which... hey, that is a great champion to get and is going to be interesting to how she functions into the tier list today. So I've got some slight rules around how I'm going to be grading each character for the tier that they're going to go into. So if they're fine with that awakening and high sigging, they appear higher, which is, of course, you know, what a lot of when you get a new 7-star for the first time with that awakening, you're like, well, I've got to know it's good for heaven's sakes. Champions that can be used for attack and defense appear higher because they will be, you know, good in any case. I should have put in here champions that also have like good important immunities or interactions against stuff when it comes to Necropolis are going to be high up as well. Champs who have ease of use score higher because, again, that makes sense. It's going to get the ramp quicker, therefore they're going to be more, advantageous. And of course, easy ramp in general scores higher in any case. And I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with the way that it's structured. Good. Put it in the comments how you're going to do the following tiering system, or you would kind of rank them higher or lower for whatever reason. So, like the tomato said to the salad, let us begin. Right, we're going to start right at the bottom, and we're going to be, and I've made also a decision that no one scores lower than a D. I could be really mean and go and be a bit stricter on this one, but I think that's unfair. All these champions are usable and they're good, but some are better than others and are easier than others. So kicking off our first classification, we're going to go with Spider-Man into D. I feel this one is better suited to go into D, right? The D, and I'll explain why. He's a very good and annoying defender. Of course, evade is the most counterable attack to have, or kind of like ability to have, because you've got so many true accuracy, true strike, inner worked abilities that are able to counter things like evade, but it's still a frustrating thing if you decide to place it in something like a Battlegrounds deck on defense. But 200 signaturing in order to trigger off that high evade is a bit of a high investment to the champion. From an attacking sense, yeah, he's got his taunts. It's easy to access the taunt debuff. Yes, the champion does a lot of damage. But, and also the physical resistance. He has that reduces physical resistance, which maximizes his damage. It's just one of these champions that's like, it's just off. A lot of people will opt for Spider-Verse champions that are used to be the likes of Silk and Spider-Ham. So he kind of is a lot lower in the pecking order if we're talking from a Spider-Verse sense. Not knocking the champion, it's just someone had to go down, and unfortunately Spider-Man Classics. So again, I feel sorry for this champion, and it's not low down in the ratings. I found it, as I said, I'm not doing anything E or F because that's not fair, because these champions still are able to do something. It's just they're not top rated because they're either good for attack or just good for defense, or are they good at both of them? And that's another kind of key element as well. If they don't have much in their kit apart from being attack orientated or have something specific. Anyway, waffling over, Gambit into C. So I've put Gambit into C because, and again, there's lots about Gambit that is really good. Ease of access to prowess buffs. Easy access with the Horseman synergy to maximize a bit more damage. There's a good shout to put him into B, to be honest. But what does he do apart from do a lot of, well, special attack damage? It's kind of like North Star, but kind of he's kind of downgraded from that because obviously it's a different ramp. It's a different ramp and it's a different thing. Ease of access should really push him up into B, but I just think that a lot of the time people are using or looking to utilize for this champion for questing, which then takes away and strips away from a champion that could be utilized better for your roster for like an attack and defense. Like, okay, well, I can take him into most of Battleground season metas because he works for both attack and defense. Like, he doesn't work for that. So he's more of like a questing based champion and he's more attack focused. I do like his ease of access to that prowess buff, and as I said, that's pretty much it. You know, you can just ramp up that by holding block, swiping back on block, build. Okay, but parry heavy, SP2, big damage. Okay, that's easy. That's good. But then out of that, from let's say one quest that he can do or one quest path that he could do, like what else is available for him? And that's another kind of key point that I kind of felt a bit like, oh, well, he's probably mark him down just a smidge. Onto which is a tricky B. Okay, I'm putting 3 champions into B. So first of all, I'm going to put Iron Man Infinity War. Iron Man Infinity War is a good champion. We do have a problem with him being a good champion. His damaging debuffs, great. Okay. I love the fact that he can go from either that shock, incinerate, bring them together, plasma. Brilliant. Okay. That is exactly what we want to see from this. But, and there is a but with it, and there are lots of positives. Many positives is he's bleed immune and he's something else immune as well, isn't he? I'm just trying to like check on my notes at the same time. But yeah, he's got another immunity. That's it, cold snap effects. So that's good against the mutant line. He has been not recently, but he's been buffed over the years. A lot of people still opt in Alliance Wars to put him on defense. The same thing when it comes to, say, Battlegrounds defense. He is great, but he's better when he's awakened. So Deflector Protocol. When that's in play, those last 15% parts of that champion's ability is just annoying to face off against because he is more, you find yourself more auto blocky, you find yourself more power gainy, special attacks being thrown at you left, right and center if you can't shut them down. It's annoying rotation at the end of it. It's doable, but that's the thing. He could be put up to A because of that in particular, and his damage output is pretty good. It's just he has that kind of double whammy. But a lot more people use him defense nowadays than use him on attack. However, people like to use him on attack, like to use him on defense. So that again makes him a real strong candidate. His heavy attacks, easy access to stuff is good. I think it's an armor break he has access to off the heavy attack. Armor break. Yeah. Sometimes like. You forget these little things. Easy access to armor break is another good thing as well, and just shouts him why he should be as high as he is. So Storm Pyramid X is joining Mr. Iron Man on B. This again makes a lot of sense because she can do a lot of damage. We're talking being a good horseman synergy, a horseman crossfight ramp with, of course, Apocalypse being that one that accesses that. You can choose your modes at the start of your cycle of going into a fight, which again is another handy thing with the champion. She also, with that choice, can be a counter to Iceman if she's making that choice between the Ice Tempest or going in as the Lightning Tempest, depending on what the ramp and the need is for the champion. There is a good SP1 slow, but it's not. I thought it was longer than that. I'm getting confused with Danny Moonstar's length of thing. So maybe she could have been downgraded a little bit, but it's the high damage prowess that makes this champion an interesting one and kind of like, you know, at that top there. I think that she is one of the best, but there are other champions in this 10 for 10 that do a bit better. On B as well is Jabari Panther. This again was another tough champion to make a key decision on. I like Jabari Panther, but I don't do anything with the champion. And that is because there's a lot of champions that are skill based that I want to invest in and have invested into. If I wanted a a kind of a shrug-off based champion, I go Bullseye. If I wanted to go a different route with that, I'd probably go Mole Man. There's a lot of champions out there that I'm like, I should do a lot more with. And unfortunately, even though I've got a 7-star version of Jabari Panther, it kind of is less down in my thought process, but it's still a good champion. It's ease of access to get into the hunt, therefore it's better to do the damage. She can be frustrating on defense. That is when you're in, say, a Alliance Wars defense type territory, or even you faced off against her as a defender. Because she's able to interact with that pesky dexterity, mastery, evade, and an attack miss type suppression, that is annoying. And we like annoying defenders, but also we like good attackers. And she's kind of like that. But again, the choice of who you're taking to rank up, you're kind of choosing, if you had a choice between Bullseye and Jabari Panther to take up to rank 2 or rank 3 as a 7-star, you'd largely go Bullseye. I think that predominantly, there would be some that would say, oh, I like Jabari Panther, sit with Jabari Panther. But you'd be predominantly going, no, I'm going to rank up instead Bullseye. Why? Well, again, same thing. That champion, Bullseye, is more annoying than it would be Jabari Panther on defense. And from an attacking perspective, you just go, right, well, I kind of get similar things, not exactly, from going Bullseye versus Jabari Panther on the damage ramp up and stuff like that. So it's a tough one, isn't it? And also the extent of like bleed damage with other ones. You might even go Chilf. You might even go Chilf over Jabari Panther. And again, it would be no disrespect to Jabari Panther. It's just that you might kind of, you just be going, right, well, there's a little bit more on offer. Then, yeah, it's sad. I think that if Jabari Panther was recently released, probably people would go with it. But I don't know if it goes with the stigma of what Realm of Champions was. But still, I know there are some like big fans of Jabari Panther, and she's somewhat underrated. I think that she'll have a bit of resurgence with time. And I think we had a Karina's challenge, didn't we, to kind of use her or go to get her as a result. So I think this is a good opportunity for people to do that Karina's challenge. So all power to the people. Possibly a little bit of bias from me when it comes to Gwenpool. I love ease of use champions. I do. By the way, I'm working on a project next year that is going to be great for the problem that I have and many people have at the moment. It's trying to remember quickly like that how to play each individual champion with like a sentence, like, and just twigging that memory of how to play it. I'm going to be working on that next year. It's going to be an amazing project. But this champion is easy to use. It's easy to get damage. It's easy to do Incinerates. It's easy to do bleeds. It's easy to do, yeah, all the kind of things that you need to do for the champion. If you've got an Awakened version, and that's a problem as well, like you might want to go and focus on that. Maybe you won't. But Gwenpool is able to withstand special attacks, SP3s, as part of plot armor. This on screen right now. But I just like the aggression, and I think that's something that speaks to me. Bleed damage, stun potentially, maybe. SP2 power control, heavy attack. Is that the one? No, it's the SP1. Right, okay, there we go. The attack incinerates the enemy, dealing X amount of damage. Great, okay. Then when the effect expires, it has 100% chance to consume one bleed effect to reapply itself, so you can always keep that Incinerates on. So I just think you'll get a lot of debuff based damage. SP3 with armor break, so that's another thing. It's just ease of use. Like, it's an ease of use champion. It doesn't need to be awakened to be good, because plot armor is all about withstanding a special attack. In particular, SP3. Champions saved my butt in some very much endgame content back in the day. But yeah, it's just ease of use. That's the reason that I've put her up into A, because you just don't need to think. And when champions have, you don't need to think. It's ease of access, it's ease of use, and it's just getting the job done. Guillotine 2099 for me, I would have and I should have, and maybe I could have put her up into S. Her damage ramp ceiling is very good. It's just easy as well. Get to 100 hits and you're able to be persistent. You're able to do a lot more damage going to the next fight. You do have your Digisouls. You do have your pre-fight ability. All of which can allow you to make key decisions on what you do with the champion. Good at SP1 rotation for getting power control, regen at end of life, double immunity, so she's able to take on champions that are like regenning a lot, and reverse controls. However, I would stress, and that's something I marked it down for us, Kabam seems to be doing a lot of regen with rate you can't modify in any kind of way, which I don't like too much, because then it does eliminate this champion. Because a lot of time it's like mutant champions, you're like, well, I'll bring her against them. Unfortunately, then it's like, oh, I can't suppress the regen. If I do, I'm in trouble, kind of thing. But that SP2 is always quite nice. And yeah, we've got can't land critical hits naturally. However, all the basic attacks that aren't critical have a chance based on critical rating to inflict a degen debuff, which is nice, because then you do something that not many champions can either purify or be immune to, however you want to describe it. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff on offer for the champion, depending on what you like and how you like the champion when it comes to a rotation. You might want to do a synergy with her, but apart from that, yeah, double immunity, like the regen, the SP1 power control, which I think is a fantastic element to this. And I think is the only one in this list, apart from Gwenpool, that can power control, so that's nice. So by the process of elimination, you probably know which ones I've put into S, and I've put in Wiccan, I have put in Vox, and I have put in Isophene, and we are in good company with those champions. Wiccan has always been a standout, great option for players, destroying cosmic champions, just a really powerful access to Fate Seal off of that rotation. I've ranked 2'd, I'm pretty certain I've ranked 2'd Wiccan, unawakened version, so I'm very much looking forward to getting the awakened version with Spell Mastery. And Spell Mastery, for me, unlocks a lot more when it comes to the extent of, I think, is it the access of, I've referred to it as spread. The spread to do damage to more, where at the moment he's quite limited. But he still functions really well as an, unawakened champion. Get neutralized off of doing a medium light, and that's massively helpful. And then you've got other kind of elements of rotation, SP1 regen, SP2 with your kind of doing damage. Yeah, great. It's just a great champion. Lots of damage, either plasmas or incinerates that he does. Some passive effects here or there as well to damage. So he's allowing himself to open up to damage a lot more champions that may be, again, shrugging because they shrug debuffs but not effects. So that's nice as well. With Vox has, and he's going to be a champion that I'll rank up to take into probably the 10-year anniversary challenge, I would say, whenever I get time over the Christmas period. Lots of immunity to power controlling. So being immune to power controlling is going to be really important for I think more so for defense, but then again, if you're being stripped out in something where it gets taken away from you, then that again is important. Immune to poison kind of opens him up a little bit, but it's not ridiculous. However, it's the corrupted buffs. The corrupted buffs and the awakened ability, once you awaken him, like those degen damages are just nutty at best. There's also, of course, the buffs. The buffs help accelerate the extent of damage the champion does, and sort of a defensive frustration, sort of not really. I don't see a lot of people putting him on defense, and if they do, any that I've hit on defense, I've destroyed. But each to their own with who they put. Yeah, he's just a very underrated champion who does a lot of damage based on his buffs. And the more people that kind of wake up to that, the better, I think. And even more so because you get a 7-star or a 6-star for free for the very first time. Getting his vigilance buff is good because then it's like, it's a counter to miss champions. And I think if you've got the vigilance buff on, it counts as a buff that you can transfer to convert into a corrupted. So therefore you could have more of a sustainable miss counter with that one. Yeah, all good. Great champion. And of course Isophene. The final one is Isophene. As a champ that we're going to get, she is an easy access nullify champion with an easy ramp, like one of the most easiest ramps you're going to see. And of course, with that fractured power bar, your choice of special attack is going to be, again, another amazing thing. I think she's available in pre-release bundles, but she is able to take down, she's a counter to things like Serpent, Gore. Not as a, it's quite funny to see those champions be the ones she's able to destroy because there's been so much of a frustration in defense. But having an amazing power gain, having it built in, what was it, Mystic Dispersion up to rank 3. Again, that's another amazing W for the champion because it comes as standard and you get it for free. Could be future synergies with the idols, which you can see here's some of the stuff here, and then it's all coming soon. So that's nice. Yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to be very happy with this. Energy vulnerability, lots of more damage. Degeneration as well. I think that's off the back of, like, is that an SP3 that she does with it, if I can remember? Yeah, look at that. Like, for a 7-star doing 70k direct damage over 35 seconds. Wow. But it's the energy vulnerability, easy access to SP1 rotations, doing big SP2s to finish off, the marked passive as well, that she's able to do to absolutely wipe out enemies. Again, great. There's a lot on offer for players when it comes to Isophene, and I just think that this is great. We get it for free, and that new kind of like power bar system means she's incredibly exciting. So I'm happy with the 3 that I've put up right at the very top. I can't pick out anyone in particular, except for I probably got Isophene as being the #1 champion from this that you'll need to that is like the #1 rank if I was to choose them. But that's basically it. That is probably my top 10. It would be like 10 Spider-Man, it would be 9 Gambit, it would be 8 Jabari Panther, 7 Storm Pyramid X, 6 Iron Man Infinity War, 5 Gwenpool, 4 Guillotine 299, a 3rd Vox, 2nd Wiccan, and #1 Isophene. It's just how it goes in that order. What are your thoughts? What are your top 10? Put it in the comments. Thanks very much for watching this tier list, and more of these to come in the new year, but better structured than what I've done right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out some other content located on screen, and have a lovely day. Goodbye for now.